Hello and welcome to the Tryline Podcast. I'm your host, Bo. This is my co-host, Danny.
The People's Host. Thank you.
The People's Host, yes, the People's Host. How's the People's Host feeling after all Queensland teams won this weekend? I think Origin is a couple of weeks away. We're just peaking at the right time. The Queensland teams, first time since 2019, the same round 11. All Queensland teams have won, feeling good, wearing my colours proudly. How do you feel after that weekend?
I feel fine because it only happens every 2 years.
It actually does. I think I had a look. It's happened 4 times in the last 4 years or something like that. Anyway, Parramatta, they lost on the weekend as well. Big game. You said it was a danger game. You actually said there were a chance of being blown out. I laughed you off.
Did I?
Yeah.
Well, there you go.
You predicted a lot of things on the weekend. I think you predicted the weather as well, which was outstanding.
Yeah, mate, it's just who I am. It's what I do.
You're the People's Host.
I'm the People's Host.
So he says. All right, today we're picking our Origin sides. We're going to pick it both our Queensland, New South Wales sides for Game 1. Let's go.
Yeah, well, just so everyone knows, these aren't the teams that we'd pick. These are just the teams that we think are going to get picked.
Yeah, okay.
But before we get into that, I'd just like to send our condolences to the Fulton family. Bob Fulton, one of the immortals, unfortunately passed away yesterday. So I'd just like to send our thoughts to his family.
Yeah, a little bit before our time, but still a great figure in the game, and really sad to hear that he passed yesterday. Yeah, really sad, but that's where we're at.
Yeah, anyway, on to a brighter note, I guess. Yes. The winning side for Origin 2021, New South Wales. At fullback, we've got James Tedesco. The wingers, Josh Adokar. We did have a little bit of a debate about this one because I do think Tupou will get picked, but To'o's in such fine form at the moment, so
I think they'll go. Yeah, we did talk about this one. It's out of Daniel Tupou and Brian To'o. I don't think it's out of anyone else.
Yeah, no.
I think we went To'o because it's a little bit easier to debut him there, and if he doesn't play well, then you can bring in Tupou for Suncorp.
Yeah.
So that's why we went with that.
Yeah, that's why I went with that. For the centres, we got Turbo, and also another one.
Yeah.
Was we picked Latrell Mitchell, although Bo was saying if Jack Whiten wasn't on the bench, he'd be in the centres.
We settled on Latrell. We settled on Latrell.
Yep.
Great centre combination as it is, but Jack Whiten, we're wondering where he fits into all this.
Yeah, definitely. The halves, obviously Nathan Cleary at 7, and we've gone Jerome Luai at 6. He's in great form too. The Panthers is just on fire at the moment.
Yeah.
So as many Panthers players in critical spots would be.
I think you have to go Jerome and Nathan Cleary. I think they're the form combination of the league. I think Jerome does wonders for Nathan Cleary as well. So I think you got to have them both there.
100%. Well, you got to think about it. They've only lost 2 games the past 2 years, so that's crazy. 11 to start the year. So anyway, onto the front rows. We've gone Daniel Saifidi and Payne Haas. Again, that could be a lot of different combinations there.
Junior Paulo could start as well, but we decided on a bench rotation there. But it's going to be those 3. Those 3 will be in the side.
Yeah, definitely. I think we just went with the starting props for last year.
Yeah.
So hooker Damien Cook, I think that's his spot to lose.
Yeah,
exactly. The back row is Angus Crichton if he can fight his charge this week at Judiciary. If not, we had Wade Graham coming into the starting side.
And interesting on this one, we don't have Wade Graham in the team, but if Angus Crichton's out, we have him coming straight into the starting side just because one, he's quality player, has done it for a long time. Yeah. 2, he's been there, done that for New South Wales. So I feel like he can just slot in there seamlessly if he has to on the left edge.
Yeah.
But Angus Crichton, he should get off. Yeah. He should get off.
Yeah. Did you guys see that?
If you haven't seen
on Albert Kelly, go to the 7th minute?
Yeah, the 7th minute.
Broncos Roosters game. Mate, unbelievable.
They're going to fight it this week. He should get off. It's a low charge.
Yeah, definitely. Other back rows, Tyson Frizzell with Jake Jurojevich at lock. So the bench, again, there's a few different players we could have picked here, but we've gone Jack Whiten in the 14.
Yeah.
If it wasn't going to be him, if they're going to just decide to go all forwards, we think it's Nathan Brown.
And they actually, 2 out of 3 games last year, they did go all forwards. So it's not... Freddie might choose that avenue. They might go all forwards, but at the moment we're thinking utility, so Jack Whiten gets that spot.
Yeah, we're a little bit... it could go either way.
Could go either way.
Yeah, it's a tough one there.
We were stuck on that.
Anyway, to round off the bench, we've got Isaiah Yeo, Junior Paulo, Cam Murray with King Gutho in at 18th man.
Yeah. And we went Jake Jurojevich to start over Cam Murray and Isaiah Yeo just because we think that he'll push into the front row at that 20-minute mark. So that's the New South Wales side. Onto the Queensland side, a lot of injuries over here. We've got Kalen Ponga at fullback if he is fit. If not, we've got Val going there and a move in the wing spot. But we've got Kalen Ponga at fullback, Val Holmes and Xavier Coates on the wings, Dane Gagai, and we're a little bit stumped for centres in Queensland. So we went Kurt Capewell.
Well, he did a job last year.
Yeah, I don't think they have a lot there, to be honest. But yeah, Kurt Capewell gets the job there. The halves pick himself, Cam Munster, DCE. I think Cam Munster should be right to go, hopefully. Christian Walsh, and we went Tino Fasur-Malawi in the front row.
I think this is something that we disagreed on.
It's tough. They've really run out of front rows. I didn't want to start Mo Fodawaker. I don't think they will.
Yeah.
Denny was saying he could start.
Yeah.
Dynamis Louis also a chance, but we went Big Tino up the front. And an interesting one. This is probably one that's going to be a little bit controversial. We've gone Reid Mahoney to start in the 9.
Well, we figured on this because Cam Smith,
Yep.
probably the greatest hooker ever, came out and said that's what he'd do.
So we're back in the goat in. We're backing in Reid Mahoney to start over Harry Grant. Harry Grant hasn't played a lot of football this year. Reid Mahoney has been playing out of his skin. So I'm going to take him to start. The back rowers are a little bit more simpler there. Felice Kafusi and David Fafita.
Yep.
Jai Arrow takes the lock spot for mine. He has been playing well off the bench for South, but we need him to start there.
Well, that's what I was saying, because Jai is, you can tell he brings it's like an instant impact off the bench.
Yeah, definitely.
That he's been bringing to the Bunnies. So I was going to say him to the bench, Mo Fodawaker start at prop, and Tino to lock.
Yeah,
but
this is where we're at.
Yeah,
you just wanted to get that across.
I did. Anyway,
we've got Harry Grant starting on the bench there. If he's fit, if he's not fit, then probably Ben Hunt gets that job. Jaden Sewer, Mo Fodawaker, Dynamis Louis rounds out the bench. That next forward spot was really hard to pick as well. So we did toss up the Corey Horsburgh
and Josh Kerr.
But Josh Kerr might be suspended too, so that kind of leaves him out.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's our origin sides. We both wish both teams were at full strength. Ryan Pappenhausen, we didn't talk about him. He looks like he'll be injured, so that's why he's in the 14. Otherwise, he would be.
Yeah.
Anything else you want to add to those?
Nah, I think they're all pretty good. We just wish that both teams were 100%, and we could get the best possible origin game. But
yeah, so Ben Hunt gets the 18 spot for Queensland too.
Yeah, I just wish Queensland would fully healthy so they could at least make it a little bit competitive. But unfortunately, it's going to be a 3-0 sweep to New South Wales.
Yeah. All right. Well, there was a couple of charges the other weekend. There was actually a lot of charges, but the main ones, Victor Radley and Angus Crichton. Victor, I can't see him getting off and getting picked in the New South Wales squad. He made contact with the head, so he is going to fight it. I don't think he'll get off. The Angus Crichton one, I'll be shocked if he doesn't get off at judiciary. I thought it was minimal contact. Just before we get into the games, and we're going to review all the games here today, I wanted to talk about, there was a lot of people getting into Jack Bird. He was sitting in the changing room. There was photos going around of him crying and that.
Yeah.
What I wanted to say on this, one, if you're messaging players, you're the lowest breed person ever. If you're telling him to kill himself and that, seriously, grow up.
Yeah.
But also, there was times last year where the Broncos were losing every game, right? And then after the game, they were cheering, like laughing, talking to the other teammates and that. And there was huge backlash about it.
Yeah.
Then you got the other end of the spectrum here, where Jack Bird's sitting in the sheds, gutted about what happened, crying, and then he's getting shit. So how are they meant to act after a game? Seriously.
Well, it's doomed if you do, doomed if you don't.
Well, you want your players to care about the result in what Jack Whiten did, but then if he cares too much, then he's a sook. Like I hated that. Like, leave him alone. One, he played his heart out, and also Corey Norman come out and said sorry for his performance. I thought he played pretty good. He missed a couple of field goals at the end. I thought their team was depleted, so like I felt bad for him as well. Geez, that game was a low game anyway.
That's what I got written here. It's a low game.
But you can critique a performance and you can critique a player's performance, but there's a difference between that and going out and telling them that they should go kill themselves. Like, it's just a game.
Yeah. I don't get it.
Yeah, I hate it. Anyway, let's get into those games.
Rightio, Thursday we got your boys, the Cowboys, defeating the Knights 36 points to 20. Cowboys came out on fire. 3 tries in the first 20, looking good, and then couple soft sin bins. Oh, the Jason Taumalolo one was, it was pretty heavy contact to the face.
Yeah.
But I think the Lachlan Burr one, I think that was another one of those tackles where the player fell into it, and it's like, what, as a defender, what are you supposed to do?
I mean, Lachlan Burr knew it was coming as soon as the whistle blew. He knew it was going.
Yeah, 100%. But the Knights, they only looked good when the Cowboys were down 2 players.
Well, I think they scored half their points against like 11 or 12 players.
Yeah. No, 11.
Yeah,
11. So the Cowboys had 11 men for, I think it was about 6 or 7 minutes, and that's when the Knights scored half their points. So I don't know what's going on with the Knights. I think they've lost 4 of their last 5.
Yeah, well, they've just been terrible. They've got nothing. They've got a lot of injuries, but geez, they've been low. I thought the Cowboys were all right. Again, they concede over 18 points like every single week.
Yeah.
But I thought they were really good. I thought Josh Drinkwater. You got that into me.
No.
Scott Drinkwater. I thought he was really good. I thought he controlled the game. And then while they had 13 on 13, they just dominated.
Yeah, I mean, the Cowboys have looked... I mean, they haven't looked bad.
They haven't beaten anyone of worth, though.
No, well, they've only been... Oh, no. Yeah, you're right.
They haven't. Yeah, so it'd be interesting. I think we've got the Warriors this week. So we're running that back early.
The Warriors already?
Yeah, and I think...
3 weeks ago?
I think the Dragons have the Tigers. And that just happened. I don't know what's going on with the draw. But anyway, I thought they were pretty good. I think Val's playing such good footy.
Maybe he's just finding the form that he was in before he went over to the NFL.
Well, we did say too, if Kalen Ponga doesn't find his way, if he's not fit for game 1, we've both got Val going to fullback.
Yeah, and then did we agree on Felt?
Yeah, Felt going to the wing.
Felt going onto the wing, so he'd finally make his Origin debut. I don't know how Queensland selected Corey Oates over Felt.
Yeah, all right. But anyway, the Cowboys are playing good footy. And very big game, Warriors and them, because the Warriors still haven't won back-to-back, but they're finding a bit of form. Reece Walsh tore them apart. I'm saying all this, but I have no idea if they're actually playing the Warriors. I got a feeling that they are.
Well, let's
you get into the next game. I'm gonna have to check that.
All right. We're into the Friday. Speaking of the Warriors beat the Tigers 30 points to 26. Again, Reece Walsh, unbelievable player. He's been one of the Warriors' best since he debuted in, what was it, round 7 I've got.
Yeah.
And he's been on fire the last 2 weeks especially. When he went on last week against Parramatta, he was easily the best player on the field, and he was definitely up there again in this game. A couple of try assists, try himself. Unbelievable.
Well, I thought the thing is too, the Tigers started well. And I thought that was good for them. They forced a repeat, I think, in the first set or something. Their first set, they forced a repeat. Then they ended up scoring within the first 4 minutes.
Yeah.
But then Reece Walsh just played so good, so good. He's only started 2 out of the 3 games he's played, and
he's played 4.
He's only started 3 games this year, and they've won 2 or 3. So he's got to start. And the only one they lost was Melbourne in Melbourne.
Yeah, well, that's a tough assignment there.
Yeah, well, it's tough for any team. Don't worry about RTS on the wing either. 2 tries, 2 try assists, line break, 272 metres. This is what we were talking about with Tommy the other day. The good players just find a way to get himself in the game.
Yeah.
So you have RTS on the wing. He's going to get himself involved anyway.
Well, yeah, you saw him on that play where he assisted to Jack Murchie.
Yeah.
Where he was in field about 3 or 4 players, just getting his hands on the ball, gets the ball. Bit of footwork around Joey Leilua.
Yeah.
Sets up Jack Murchie.
And I love that for RTS, just inserting him whenever he wants to do it.
Yeah.
So leave him on the wing, because you've got to find a way to play all of them. And we said, how are they going to find a way to play all of them? Well, Nick Arima, Harris DeVita, Wade Egan, RTS and Reece Walsh all played 80 on the weekend. So they found a way.
Yeah, Wade Egan picked up a try as well, so good on him.
So that's the way they got to go forward. This is the best the Tigers have played back-to-back this season. They didn't get blown out. I think
game.
Yeah, it was a competitive game.
Play.
And every time they win, they usually come out and can't back it up. So this wasn't that. I thought good on the Tigers. They found a way to keep it competitive, and I think that's a good sign for them. So hopefully they can bounce into next week. They've got the Dragons too, who are just absolutely depleted.
Yeah, mate, the Dragons. Well, speaking of the Dragons, we get into the next game. They got beaten by the Sharks 13-12. It was a bit of a back and forth game. I think the Sharks were down to 12 men and the Dragons were up.
Yeah.
10-6, I think it was.
Yeah, and then
10-6?
Bo put the mocker on the Dragons, I think.
Yeah, Bo put the mock. What you put on a sneaky bet?
Yeah, a live bet. I thought the Sharks went down to 12. The Dragons were rolling, and I thought the Dragons are going to run over him here. I have a look at the line. The line's +4. Bo chucks about 100 on that. About 100. And then, the Dragons just... As soon as I placed the bet, I think they dropped the ball.
Yep.
I pressed bet. They dropped the ball, and then it was game over. Like, they never looked like winning after that.
Yeah, well... The Sharks actually scored when they were down a man, I think.
I know, that's been happening a little bit. It's been very strange. I thought the Dragons were very tough in this game. They lost Ramsey, Figai, Burns, Laurie went off for HIA as well. They lost heaps of players.
Did you say Ramsey?
Yeah, Ramsey. Yeah. They were really depleted. They looked tired, and they still had an opportunity to win the game, which is not a good news, not a good sign for the Sharks.
Yeah.
When everyone had the Sharks in this game. Local derby pretty much says where these two teams are at. Like, usually it's a big clash. They only had 9,000 there on Friday night, so...
Yeah, they're both going to finish on the bottom end of the ladder, I think.
I think so too.
Not low, maybe 12, 13.
Since we sat here and talked about the round 6 curse for the Dragons, they're good to round 5, and then from round 6 on, they go backwards. They've won one game since then.
I know.
And that was against the Bulldogs.
Well, I mean...
I don't know how they're still in the 8. You tell me how they're still in the 8.
Are they still in the 8?
Yeah, I think they're coming 7th. I think they've only dropped one place. Yeah, I think so. Let's have a look. They're coming 7th.
Because I think they were they were 4th, top 4 when they were winning round 6, and they've only dropped down to 7th.
Yeah, they've only dropped down to 7th. I can't believe that either.
How's
but anyway,
that
they've only had one win since round 5, and that was against the Dogs.
One win since round 5.
Yeah, and that was against the Dogs.
Round 5 was Para?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, it was.
And did they only just beat the Doggies? What was the score there? They smashed them?
No, they smashed them. They smashed them at home. I went there. It was a low game again.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I remember that.
Kyle Flanagan got hooked.
Yeah.
Speaking of Kyle Flanagan, I really hope the Bulldogs don't bring him back this week. Because talk about a confidence builder.
I saw him reversing.
Jesus.
Righty, on to Saturday. We got the Titans beating the Bulldogs 30-20. I thought this wasn't that bad of a game.
Yeah.
Not too bad for a Titans Doggies. What I got written here?
I thought Tanner Boyd was great again. I thought Tanner Boyd was solid as. I think he's keeping Ash Taylor out of their side. I think he's playing good footy.
So you think if Ash Taylor's healthy, Tanner Boyd stays?
Yeah. I think Tanner Boyd gives them a lot more flow to their attack than what Ash Taylor and Jamal Fogarty had, which it shocks me. But Tanner Boyd's, I think he's playing good footy. And he played with Dave Fafita growing up, apparently.
Did he?
Yeah, I think they played at the same high school, so...
Oh, well, wasn't it like Keebrit Park or something like that?
So...
Didn't everyone play there?
No,
all the good players?
All the good players play there. No, but maybe he's a go there. Huge boost for them. Dave Fafita being back next week.
Oh, yeah.
They take care of the Bulldogs. Don't love them giving 20 points up against the Bulldogs, though.
No, me neither. Well, I was going to say, the Doggies were in this game up until the 77th minute when AJ Brimson scored that try, set up by Mo Fotuaika. Yeah. I was giving it to Mo a couple of weeks ago, saying he was dreadful, giving away all those penalties, that he'd be dropped. He comes out and he plays big minutes in this game, I think.
Mate, just in time. He's getting himself ready. All the Queenslanders are peaking at the same time. It's beautiful. The first time the Bulldogs and Penrith met, it was 28-0. Overs under that this week?
Overs.
It's way overs. They're going to get pumped.
And the line will be about 30.
Yeah, Jesus. I think. It's going to be just an absolute massacre. I mean, keep your dogs in the shed for that one, I think.
I got to tip them this week too.
Don't tip them.
I got to.
You don't have to.
No, well...
I'll release you of that.
No, you don't release me of that. I release myself from that when I want to. And I am a man of my word. I said I'm going to tip the Doggies every week till they win.
Okay.
And I think I'll be about the only person in the world to tip the Doggies.
You probably will be. Oh, you and that Jason on TikTok, he'll tip the Dogs too, up to the Doggies.
Will he?
He definitely will.
He will?
Yeah.
All right, anyway. Yeah. Broncos defeat the Roosters 34-16 in probably the upset of the year so far.
I'm shook about this, man.
Well, okay. Well, I've got a couple of things to say about this game.
Yeah, get it off your chest.
Rightio. So I'm not a Roosters fan, and I'm not trying to take anything away from the Broncos because they did play. They played well against the Roosters. Like, I'm not saying that some of the calls, if they went the other way, the Roosters would have won.
So the Broncos deserve to win.
Yeah, the Broncos deserve to win.
Well, let's get that out of the way.
Yeah, let's get it out. But there's a couple calls in this game, like Victor Radley, like some of his shots were bad.
Yeah.
Like when he makes contact with the head, yeah, that's bad. But I thought the shot on Albert Kelly, when Albert Kelly's kicked the ball, a couple more plays go by. I'm not too sure how many.
Yeah,
like
I don't like
2-3
that.
plays. Then they call time, go back, have a look at the kick, and there's like the teeniest bit of contact.
No, if the referee doesn't call it live and it's not that next play, so if he doesn't kick the ball, they catch it and get tackled, and they don't call it then. If it's 2-3 plays down the track, I'm done with that.
Yeah,
Don't
like,
go back.
It's like you still have a look at it, and he's still on report. Still punish him after
definitely.
the fact. But there's been a few plays since that play.
Yeah,
so
silly.
I mean, I'm not saying he shouldn't go unpunished for coming in contact with the head.
Yes, he should be punished, but after the fact,
Yes.
not right then.
Exactly.
What I want to say is, didn't he get put on report like 5 times?
I think it was 4.
4.
And sent to the bin twice.
So, how doesn't he get sent off?
I don't know. And I think they were all for contact with the head.
I'm sorry, but he needs to be sent off.
Yeah, well...
Like, I love Victor Radley. I love how he plays. And I think we talked about on the weekend, a year ago, he was lauded as probably one of the most aggressive, great tacklers in the game. And now his tackling style's completely outdated, and that's a week. That's within a week.
Yeah.
And I had a look at the Fox League highlight package right for the season to pump everyone up. Half the tackles on that are outlawed now.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, and that was something to get everyone excited. Come watch this. This is our game and that. And now half of those are outlawed.
Well, yeah, go on.
I don't have a problem with if you make impact with the head. I think the way the game's going, why not put him in the bin? Get rid of the bad ones. There was a game, the Rabbitohs and Penrith this weekend. There was 9 penalties for dangerous contact. Right. Not one of them went to the bin. Because, you know why? Because not one of them were worthy of a sin bin.
Yeah.
Now, he dealt with it on the field. He put players on report. He gave penalties, which is what we want to see. He punished it, but he didn't go too far. He let the game flow. And someone commented and said, if you make contact with the head, you go to the bin. That's the rules. Well, it's obviously not the rules, is it? Because there was how many head highs were there last weekend, and not everyone went to the bin.
Yeah, exactly.
So maybe work out what the rules are first.
Yeah.
Before you come say that. Now, it's forceful, direct contact with the head, right?
Yeah.
Do we both agree that deserves to go to the bin?
Yeah.
That's what we're saying.
Yeah. Well, just going back to the Bulldogs-Titans game, you saw Dylan Napa on Jared Wallace.
Yeah.
You saw it was the tiniest little slap on the cheek, on the chin. Like, sure, it's a head high, that's a penalty.
Yeah.
But he got 10 in the bin for that.
I think you need to give yourself somewhere to go, right? And I think Grant Atkins needs to be wrapped for how he refereed the game on Sunday. The Penrith Rabbitohs game, I thought he was outstanding. And I think that is the way that it should be refereed going forward. I think we all agree that direct shots with the head need to be out of the game, especially bad ones.
Yeah. Like the ones where...
Anytime a shoulder contacts the head directly, I'm all for them going. I have no problem with it.
Yeah, 100%. But, what was I going to say? The ones where a player's falling... They're falling into a tackle. Like the defender isn't. They've got no intent. The arms aren't raised. Their arms aren't going for their head. They're just like in a tackling position. They've made a tackle, and the attacking player just happens to fall into and hit their head, and they're sending that into for 10. I don't agree with that.
I think that they'll fix this in the off season. I think they'll have a real look at it, and referees will be trained on how to adjudicate on it, and then we'll see the result of that. And we'll see teams get better at not defending like that, because it's going to have to happen. That's the way the world's going. And Peter V'landys is not going to back down. He's pretty headstrong. So that's the way it's going to go.
I think they need to do it before end of the season, because we're not even halfway through.
Well, they shouldn't have introduced it now, but they did. So they're not going to be able to. When are you going to teach your referees to do this? Like you can hardly train it at training. They want to police contact sessions as well, which is when a lot of concussions happen too. So it's a hard one to crack. Just on the Broncos, we got way off topic then. The Broncos completed 39 out of 42 sets.
It was like 93% or something.
So Jesus, that's a pretty good effort from them. They've got another halves change this week because what's the halfback's name? Gamble's out this week, so Milf will probably come back in there. So another change for them, and I think they got the Storm.
That's a tough game.
That's a tough game.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Anyway, on to the Storm versus the Raiders. The Storm won that one 34 points to 10. The Raiders started off really well, scored a couple of quick tries. Just couldn't seem to hang onto the lead. But that seems like the story of their season, really. They'll build up a lead or be in the contest at least. And then second half comes around late in the game.
That's funny that you said that.
They'll just fall apart.
That's funny that you said that because I said same old Storm, same old Raiders.
Yeah.
Like, the Storm, doesn't matter who they've got on the park. Every single man's going to do their job always. I think their halves had 14 NRL games between them.
Who were the halves?
Cooper Johns and what was the other one's name?
Wasn't Riley Jacks.
No. It was the guy that come in for Riley Jacks that we talked about on the podcast. I can't even remember his name.
No.
Yeah, but they only had 14 games between them, NRL games.
They still managed this. After being 10-0 down, they
still managed 34 points. And the Raiders didn't score a point after the 15th minute mark. They've won, I think the Storm won 8 in a row, and all of them have been by over 16 points.
I think they was saying it was like 7 of the last 8 or something, they've scored 40 points.
Yeah, it's crazy.
So, I
It's
mean,
crazy.
and that's with different half combinations, plays out.
They got a try disallowed really late in this game too, so it should have been 40 again this week.
Yeah. Well, what about Nico Hines? What about him? He's killing at the moment. And I think any team, even if they need any position that like the 6, 7 or 1.
Well, so he's a 6 too. Apparently, he come through the grades and everything as a 6, and he's just playing 1.
Well, he could play any of those positions.
That's what I mean. But they reinvent people's career. Like Cooper Cronk was a hooker. He'd never played halfback before Craig Bellamy.
Well, there you go.
And then Craig Bellamy thinks, oh no, I think he can be a halfback. Now he's one of the greatest ever halfbacks ever played.
Yeah, I know, 100%.
This is what I'm talking about. Like, it's just crazy. He has an eye for talent. Now Nico Hines 6 and 1 right now is not very different, right? They're just pretty much both ball runners at the moment.
Yeah.
So Nico Hines is just killing it. The Broncos, he's right on the Broncos' radar.
He should be on everyone's radar.
Yeah.
Sharks, Dragons, just every team. Every team should be looking at him and seeing if they can fit him in somewhere.
Well, the Dragons have got to make a massive play for him, I think.
Well, Dragons 100%.
Yeah. But I think the Broncos have probably the money to get him. They've got Adam Reynolds coming. And then they're also looking at Josh Hodgson. So that's starting to get together a pretty good spine there.
Yeah.
Nico Hines should be priority number 1.
Well, imagine this spine. Reece Walsh, Nico Hines, Adam Reynolds and Josh Hodgson.
Imagine Reece Walsh, Sam Walker, Nico Hines.
Tom Dearden.
Reece Walsh, he's just killing it.
Yeah.
How many good young players are there in the comp right now?
It's crazy, man.
So good.
I mean, Sam Walker had a bit of a lower game, but you got to expect that.
The bloke's injured as hell. Like, he gets smashed up every week.
He's what 80-something kilos.
He's literally 80 kilos, wringing wet with rocks in his pocket. That's what he is.
And he had Tavita Pangai Jr. running him in all night.
There's no way he's 80 kilos. I want to see him get on the scales. I don't think he's 80 kilos.
You don't even reckon he's 80 kilos?
Oh, he's bloody tiny.
I think I saw somewhere 77.
Yeah, I think he's about 70, 75 kilos. They probably beefed him up a little bit. But back to the Broncos game, because we didn't really talk about it too much. I thought the Broncos played a really good game against Sam Walker. They just had runners at him all night. And that's how you got to play the Roosters right now. Like, that's their only kind of weakness. He's dealing with it very well, but you just got to make him tackle and tackle and tackle.
Yeah.
Anyway, the Storm just keep on rolling. The Raiders keep on rolling the other way.
Yeah.
I don't know. What are we going to say about the Raiders?
We can't say anything. We've said everything we can.
It can't just be that they can't score in the second half. That can't be the problem at the Raiders.
Listen, it's obviously more than that.
Yeah,
but we don't know.
I don't know.
We can't.
You tell me. Their roster's outstanding.
Yeah, I know. I don't know.
They're gone. And poor Chance. Chance won't be back pretty much this year.
He's got to get surgery on his on that injury where they thought they could just rehab that, like leave it and no surgery required. But
he's a huge loss. But my God,
that could be the reason, because ever since he's gone, they've fallen off a cliff.
And they were in a game with the Panthers before. That Panthers game was pretty competitive. Chance went down, and then Rapana went to fullback. And
Rapana gone in the arse.
Yeah, they kind of lost the game that way. But Jesus Christ, they're gone.
Anyway, on to the Panthers. The Red Hot Panthers, they defeat the Bunnies 56-12.
Jesus.
You messaged me and said, what was it, May 23rd, Penrith Panthers locked for the premiership?
Yep, lock in the date. The Penrith Panthers will win the grand final in 2021.
You're still
100%.
Yep. All right.
How are they getting beat? You tell me. Apart from the Storm, I don't. Who beats them?
Well, I had a look. The Bunnies have the 5th best attack in the comp, and they only managed to score 12.
That is the biggest thing about this side, man. Like, come on. They in a time when points are so hard to keep. It's hard to keep teams out right now.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't matter what team it is. It's hard to keep them out. They kept, what'd you say, top 5 attacking side to 12 points.
Top 5 attacking. Yeah, they were 5th. 5th best attacking comp in.
I think from memory, they've only given 80 odd points up this year.
I think it'll be a little bit more than 80 now.
Yeah.
Surely. But even when they versed Melbourne, who I think are the best attacking attacking side in the comp, they kept them to 12 as well.
Yeah, it's just, they're so good. They're so good. Cleary is outstanding. Their whole team's just electric. I think I read somewhere that Cleary stats. I read it somewhere. It was crazy. Anyway, this is what I talk about with the Dally M, right?
Yeah.
Cleary has a game. Scores 2 tries, sets up 1,000. So, I don't know, scores 20-something points. Can't remember off the top of my head. Outstanding. He gets
28.
2 points.
2 points.
Because Burton scores a hat-trick, gets 3, right? But they've got so many players that can get points. Where Tommy gets 3 on the weekend, right? Because he is Manly. Now Tommy's, I think, gone to 3rd or 4th in the Dally M's, and he has really only played.
I think he's played 6 games, and I think he's gotten 3 points 5 times.
Yeah. So this is what I mean. He's going to run away with this. Where Nathan Cleary is right up there. And he's playing some crazy footy, is probably going to miss out.
Well, have you ever seen a halfback in such fine form? Like, when's the last time you saw a 7 playing this well?
By himself, like, probably Thurston. Like,
back in his like, what, 2015?
Because you can include Cronk, but Cronk had so much more around him too at both clubs, at Melbourne and the Roosters.
Yeah, well, he had Cam Smith, Billy Slater at Storm, then he had James Tedesco,
Latrell,
Luke Keary, Boyd Cordner, Jake Friend.
Yeah, heaps.
Yeah, he had a lot of the Roosters.
Nathan Cleary, yes, he has a lot around him, but he's the leader of that club. He's the man.
Well, you have a look.
The only way I've got it here. The only way the Panthers don't win the comp is if Nathan Cleary is out.
Yeah, well, you have a look at some of the players that have been around JT and Cooper Cronk, and then you look at the players that are around Cleary. The players around Cleary are nowhere near as good as the players Cooper Cronk or Jonathan Thurston had around him.
Yeah.
Like, Jonathan Thurston, he had Jason Tamalolo, he had.
Yeah, well, when they won the comp, he had Tamalolo,
Matt Scott.
Yeah, Matt Scott, James Tarmo. Yeah, Granville was one of the best hookers in the game at that time.
Yeah.
He was killing it.
And he had Michael Morgan too. Yeah, I think they were all playing for Australia.
Yeah. Anyway, the Daily M leaderboard, for anyone that doesn't know, Nathan Cleary, Roger Tuivasa-Sheck, Tom Trbojevic, James Fisher-Harris, and Latrell Mitchell's 5th, but he cannot win it because of his suspension. So he's ruled out. I bet you can't tell me who's in 6th. It's a fullback.
So, hold on, go tell me the other ones.
Nathan Cleary, Roger Tuivasa-Sheck, Tom Trbojevic, James Fisher-Harris, Latrell Mitchell, and there's who's in 6th? It's a fullback.
Hold on.
On 12 points.
Hold the phone. So it's not Brimson.
No, it's not Brimson.
Did you already say Gutho?
No.
It's not. I don't think it's Gutho.
No, Gutho's on 7 points.
Oh, a fullback.
A fullback, yeah.
Is it Pappenhausen?
Pappenhausen's equal 6, yes, but he's not in that spot. It's Will Kennedy.
Will Kennedy?
Will Kennedy's on 12 points.
Well, there you go, mate. Well, I guess when the Sharks go well, he plays well.
Exactly. Does that mean the system's flawed? Does it lend to teams that only have one player? Like, you see Rogers up there, but Reece Walsh is probably polling now too.
Will Kennedy's not the Sharks' best player.
But he is probably their best player. Like, when they win right now, he is their best player on the field. Who else is the best player? Well, like, Wade Grain's been out for most of the year.
Yeah.
So you can't count him. Who's playing the best right now for the Sharks? Will Kennedy. Where you've got RTS, he's always going to poll for the Warriors. Tommy's always going to poll for Manly. The ones that surprise me is James Fisher-Harris and Nathan Cleary. They're both right up there and they're in the same spot. So that's pretty good. And then Adam Dewey, you look at Adam Dewey, he's not far off. Tigers' best player this year with Dane Laurie.
He's been moved to the centres now, so
yeah,
I don't know if he can keep on getting those points. Like, you bloody... I was watching this bloke... Who is it? For fantasy? Some bloke in fantasy? He goes to the Cowboys as well. I forget his name. But he was saying something about having a look at the stats, and Michael Maguire said he's moving Adam Doueihi to unlock his running game, and he ran for 30 metres.
Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, I like him at 6, but they won the week before. Let's get into the last game. This game had such a big game feel before it. I was really looking forward to it, and I thought it lived up to it early. I thought both teams were up for it physically, mentally. I thought it was 6 all early. I thought it was a really good game, but Manly too good. I've got nothing else to say. I thought Manly were way too good.
Yeah, okay, so I've got here that Manly, since Turbo's back, are a top 3 side.
Yep.
So I've got them on par with Melbourne, just below Penrith. Would you put them above Melbourne? Would you say they're better than Melbourne with Turbo?
Nah, I'd put them third. Third.
Okay.
But they're definitely in the conversation. I want to say, yes, Turbo was very good. He had heaps, 300 metres or something, 1 try, 2 try assists, 5 line break assists. It's a typical game for Tommy, right?
Yep.
I'm going to say this felt like the most team performance for Manly of the year. I thought the whole team was great. I thought they were all up for it, and they all played really well. And Schuster, on the edge,
on the left edge,
he has added another dynamic to their game. His passing game, that short ball, man,
the out the back to Turbo or to the lead runner.
Oh my god, that short ball,
who was
that done things to my body, honestly. And he it's just another point of attack, and the fact that Tommy's at the point where they can use him as a decoy, because Tommy was running out the back and everyone's thinking Tommy's getting the ball, and he just looks out the back, plays short. Oh my god, they're going to do teams with that all season. Parramatta right edge, what's going on? They gave up 5 tries.
It's Wonga Blake.
It was a huge issue last year.
He's just the worst defensive centre in the comp. Can't make his mind up. Like you saw last year, he was woeful on that edge.
So
with Blake Ferguson,
does what he can bring in attack make up for what he lacks in defence?
Near Kura, that's his spot.
So he needs to stay there.
He's got to stay there. Well, he's like a middle forward. He's solid defensively.
Yeah.
And like in attack, it's attack, mate.
I thought they were really poor on the right edge, and you saw they just got found out so many times.
Yeah.
Ferguson was shooting out. Wonga was staying back.
Well, Wonga
they were gone.
He can't make up his mind.
No.
He can't. On that short ball that you were talking about,
which was beautiful.
Yeah. Well, anyway, it was all right.
It was lovely.
Wonga Blake's just standing there, and like obviously he's looking at Tommy, but when he passes the inside, he's there. He just sticks an arm out.
Yeah.
Come on, you can't.
It was
be
low.
doing that.
Anyway,
was low.
I thought this was the most complete performance from Manly. Great win for them. Great day for rugby league. It's just perfect weather, big game feel. I loved it. I thought the Eels. I thought they lost the game when they didn't capitalise on the 12 men. Like they had 12. It was 13 on 12 early, and they had the ball attacking the line, and they just couldn't get over the line. So I thought that's where the game was won and lost.
Yeah. Well, I turned the TV off after halftime. Well, before halftime.
Yeah,
sorry.
I know.
Brad Parker's second try, no try.
I
turned off the TV.
Well, I enjoyed the second half. The thing we'll sign off on was there was a moment in the game where the game was over, and Parramatta made a break, and Tommy ended up saving the try, and he turned around and gave it to Paseka for not closing the gate. I thought that shows that they're a real threat for the premiership. That he is trying to set standards to that club. That they're not worried. He's not worried about this week. He's worried about you doing that in a semi-final. You know what I mean?
Like so, get that out of
exactly.
that. Out of was it Taniela Paseka?
Yeah, Paseka.
Yeah.
So trying to build good habits.
It looked good. I saw a video on TikTok of some bloke putting up with some real cool music.
Mate, but anyone that's got an issue with that play, with him doing that to a forward, you're not understanding. He's trying to build a culture in that club where you work no matter what. And I think
doesn't matter if you're up 20, or what,
or even if you're behind. He's just trying to build standards at that club, and I thought that was outstanding. What he said was, and I won't swear, but he said, if you want to keep walking, like get off.
Oh, was it?
Yeah. So I thought that was outstanding. Great work from Tommy. And you know what? Paseka will learn from that. And you don't we're not resting when we're up by 20. You know what I mean? We're putting the sword to
it. Well, it's 10 times worse when another player yells at you on the field than when a coach yells at you. If a player yells at you, you're like, oh, okay. Yeah.
And Tommy doesn't seem like that kind of guy. But obviously, he's got a feeling about him right now. This is a premiership year.
Yeah.
If they can put it all together, you can't be doing that against Penrith, right? Imagine it's 12-all. You do that against Penrith. They cut you up the middle. They score.
Yeah, they were
like
late
against
in the
South.
game.
Like against South in the prelim last year. Like Isaiah Young and Appy cut him up the middle and scored. He's not worried about Parramatta. He's worried about grand final
The
day.
big games.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Outstanding work from Tommy. I love that. Anyway, we'll be back on Wednesday with our Q&A. Great episode, Denny. The People's Host really shone through today.
I thought
it was some of your best work.
Thanks.
Anyway, onto the pub. Don't forget to check out all our socials at TrollOnYT. We're here all week, even though we're here 2 days. See you later.